If you could, I'm going to ask one favor right now. If you can kind of scoot over so that we have, I see we have some seats in the middle open, but it would be great if people are coming in, if they could see open seats on the end, that would be great. Well, we want to welcome all of you here today, and if you were invited as a coach, a teacher, a mentor, somebody who's encouraged people along the way, we want to just thank you personally for making time today to be with us. This is a tough world that we live in, and I think as we started talking about people that impacted us in our lives, you being invited here means you are one of the great ones that's really impacting either a child or adult along the way, so we thank you for that. We have an insert in the bulletin, and if you are visiting us for the first time, if you could go ahead and fill that out and turn that in at the counter. If you have a prayer request, go ahead and put it on there. We'd love to pray for you. And today for our teachers, coaches, mentors, and friends that were invited for our event today, we have something after the service downstairs. And so you can follow the apples downstairs to get treats and gifts and all kinds of good things there. But we have a few announcements I want to share with you before Pastor John comes up. And one of them would be Thanksgiving. The night before, we have a great event here of Thanksgiving. It's a different service than maybe many of you have seen before, but it's a time for us to give thanks for the many great things that we've been blessed for or come through in the last year that God has gotten us through. And so it's a great time to come. We have our women's breakfast coming up, and also if you can donate to our food pantry, that would be fantastic. So, Pastor John?
He's right here.
You're up front.
You can come on up.
All right, don't be shy.
Well, hey, today,
Don't be shy,
it's kind of a unique day, and we've designed this service, actually the 9 o'clock service and this 10:45 service, with honoring our educators, and that includes teachers, coaches, mentors, trainers, just people who've made a personal impact on our life, something they've said, something they've done, the way, the manner in which they coached us or taught us. And so it's a unique kind of service in that way, but you might also recognize that this weekend is also a Veterans Day weekend. And we did not want to fail to recognize that work. This is not really a competition or a contrast between veterans, those who've served our nation through the armed forces. It's not a contrast or a comparison. It's just one of those weekends that we want to make sure we honored our teachers. But we believe that your example, those of you who've served in the military, maybe you've been in a war, whatever it may be, your example has been a lesson of sacrifice. And so we want to make a moment today to recognize you specifically. If you've been a part of one of our services, been in a war for our nation, would you please stand? We'd like to recognize and honor you today. Thank you all, because not only your example, which has a quiet lesson in sacrifice and love of people, not just love of country, but love of people, is not only its own lesson, but the fact that you tell stories. And I think those stories matter a lot to those of us who've never been in those kind of environments, the things that people that you know side by side maybe lost their lives in those things. And so thank you so much for your service to our country. And all the things that we're going to say today are just as much about you as they are about whether it's a coach on a sideline or a teacher in a class. So thank you so much for being here today. We're going to ask if you'd stand. We're going to worship together today. We'd love to invite you to stand and worship alongside us, please.
Wrestle with
little bit of a new beat to it, but the people who are Grace Fellowship people know the song and hope you'll learn it and sing along with us. One day when heaven was filled with His praises, one day when sin was as black as could be, Jesus came forth to be born of a virgin, to build among men my temple is He. The Word became flesh and light shined among us, His glory revealed. Living He loved me, dying He saved me, buried He carried my sins far away, rising He justified freely forever. One day He's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day. One day they led Him on Calvary's mountain. One day they nailed Him to die on a tree. Suffering, anguish, despised and rejected, bearing our sins, my Redeemer is He. Hands that heal nations, stretched out on a tree, and took the nails from me. Living He loved me, dying He saved me, buried He carried my sins far away, rising He justified freely forever. One day He's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day. One day the grave could conceal Him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then He arose over that He had conquered. Now is ascended, my Lord evermore. Death could not hold Him, the grave could not keep Him from rising again. Living He loved me, dying He saved me, buried He carried my sins far away, rising He justified freely forever. One day He's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious day. One day the trumpet will sound for His coming. One day the sky with His glory will shine. One day I'll be free. My Savior Jesus is mine. Living He loved me, dying He saved me, buried He carried my sins far away, rising He justified freely forever. One day He's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious day, oh glorious day. Would you be seated? I'd like to invite the gentlemen who are doing the offering to come forward today. A few minutes ago, John talked about Veterans Day, and in fact, we do remember our veterans, and we remember the freedoms that they put their lives on the line, and in some cases gave their lives for. And we have the freedom in this country to worship any way we want to, anywhere, anytime. And that's not always true around the world. And there are people around the world who don't get to know about Jesus unless brave men and women go to share with them. And they can't do that without the gifts that we provide. They can't do that without our support. So if you're a visitor today, we ask you to just enjoy the service, have a great time. But if you're one of our members, we ask today that you would give generously so that other people around the world might know Christ as well. And let's pray for our offering. Father God, we just thank you that you've given us so much freedom. We thank you that you have given us churches like this one, and friends, and teachers, and mentors, and coaches, and loved ones in our lives who would lift us up to teach us about you. And I pray that you would take our gifts today, Lord, take what we give you today and use it so that other people in this world might know you too. I pray those things in Jesus' name.
shall soon dissolve like snow. The sun forbear to shine, but God who calls be forever mine. Will be forever mine. You are forever mine.
Thank you, everybody. Please, can you take yourself at home? Just a little bit of a cueing in here, especially for those of you who are guests of ours today. You can't know how grateful we are that you could be doing other things today. And to come, even if it's in the case of being honored as a teacher, as a coach, to come and worship alongside us today, and especially if you've never been to our church or been to a church like ours, and just to give you a little bit of sense of things, just so you're feeling a little bit more at ease. If this is like a whole different kind of worship experience than maybe you grew up in, whether it was you went to church or you didn't, we don't really want to apologize because this is who we are. But the one thing we do really hold as a high value is that Sunday mornings ought to make a difference on Monday mornings. And so if you feel an intensity and a truth and a passion and hopefully an authenticity, it's because it's true. And so we don't really want to apologize, but we want to let you know how grateful that you are and that this kind of stuff makes sense. It does, at least for us. And if you think we're a little weird, you're probably right, but not for this reason, for others. But you don't have to clap, it's not that. You don't have to agree that strongly. But no, so thank you for being a part of this today. But right now we want to take a moment to honor those we have invited in, some of the educators, some coaches, some mentors, some trainers, and some just living examples. And so in a moment I'm going to list you by name. One of the things we did with the 9 o'clock service, I had mentioned that we were going to be giving out, to those who were honored guests, I was going to be giving out apples. And wanted to ask whether it was going to be an iMac, an iPad. We are giving out apples today, but it will be of a crunchier sort. You can't get on the internet with it, but you're going to get an apple just the same. So in a minute, I'm going to read your name, and if you would stand and remain standing for the whole time, because we're going to honor everybody all at once, but if you'll remain standing, because they're going to come and bring you an apple among a couple of gifts that you're going to get before the day is done. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go through the list and ask you to stand up and let us honor you. I'm going to ask if Anja and Craig Ashley, you guys can stand up here in the space today, have been serving in our youth ministry for quite a while now as teachers, mentors, examples, and just overall lots of energy. So thank you to them. Look for Dana. Just one last cue, they did deserve applause, but if you'll hold it for everybody, this could go a long time. But Dana Ashley is here. She is also a teacher and an example, and especially to the young ladies in our youth ministry. Dana Ashley is one of our servers there. Sean Ashley, the gentleman on the stage with the guitar, happens to also have an Ashley last name, and he is a teacher in the Chicago Public Schools and has been doing that for a couple of years now, and really love him to death. So is Catherine Barr in the room? She is a third grade teacher at Mokean Elementary School, and we are, at the Moreland family, are particular fans of Mrs. Barr. And our kids, actually Cameron got Mrs. Barr twice, right? Not because he held back. I want to make sure that's clear. Because she did a fantastic job and she taught a couple of grades. And so I did hear from Mikey Battistoni, so thank you, Mrs. Barr. Deb Battistoni, and she has, she's going to stand up. She got a bad wheel, but she's going to stand up just the same. She serves in our pre-elementary ministry as a teacher and does an awesome job. Looking for Jen Battistoni as well, wherever she may be in the room. She is a teacher at Mother Teresa Catholic Academy. She's an 8th grade teacher there among a couple of classes, as well as serves in our elementary, pre-elementary ministries as a teacher for them. Also want to ask if Lauren Battistoni, she is a teacher in our pre-elementary ministries and does a really great job too. All of our kids love her to death. So, also Rose Buchhausen, she is a servant and a teacher in our elementary age ministry and has been doing it for almost 2 years now, coming on. So thank you to her. I'm looking for Dawn Broadhurst, who has been a special education teacher. There's no way she's been doing it for 26 because she said 26 years, but she had to start when she was 4. But she's been doing it for 26 years. And a new personal friend of mine at Lincoln Way North. You've been at North since the beginning?
No, 4 years.
Okay, 4 years. So I've been serving special needs service families and their students and their families for that long. What an awesome thing. Also, I'm going to ask if Frances Boss could stand up. She is Christine O'Leary Minor's preschool teacher from Julian Rogus, and we're grateful that she'd be here and let us honor her today. Wherever Terry Erickson is at, if she's in the room, I know she's downstairs with the next team.